as you can see to my right, this is what we were hearing yesterday from David Ornstein, of course, saying that Arsenal were nearing a completion and a total agreement with Newcastle United to sign Bruno Guimarães or El Capitan, of course, the 28-year-old. And then we later seen in the day Alex Crook saying that he was expected to exit Newcastle's La Manga camp in the next 24 hours to complete his Arsenal medical. The final fee for the midfielder expected to be around 80 million. That was what Alex Crook was saying. But then come to today's news, and we are seeing Keith Downey saying Arsenal have agreed a 75 million deal with Newcastle United for Bruno. The Newcastle captain has been given permission to travel to, of course, London for medical. Bruno told, of course, according to what Keith Downey's saying, Newcastle bosses earlier this summer that he wanted to join Arsenal if a suitable offer arrived. And Bruno did everything according to what Keith Downey's saying that NUFC asked, including attending training camp in La Manga, and great respect remains between the player and the club. Obviously, you know, he's just wanting to move on, being that he's 28 years old. He's now on 29 years old, and a 75 million fee, it's on the low end, especially when you consider this factor here, in the fact that Lyon have a 20% sell-on fee added into the clause. So that means that Newcastle will only bank 68 million in total from the deal. That means 7 million of the 75 million fee will go to Lyon. So they're banking 7 million out of this, Lyon, even though they haven't really had to do anything on the deal. They're going to be banking 7 million out of this deal, and we're only going to be getting 68 million for Bruno. When you look at it, that is very, very disappointing when you consider that we only just sold, you know, Sandro Tonali earlier in the month for about 100 million. And I'd say, like I've said already quite a few times, you know, I would say that Bruno is a better player than Sandro Tonali. And of course, Sandro going to the white side of North London and Bruno going to the red side of North London in Arsenal. And I've got to say, out of all of the transfers so far in this window, the one that has been the most respectfully done would be the Anthony Gordon deal to Barcelona. Barcelona came in, they offered the fee, they didn't harper on over how much to pay for the player, and Anthony Gordon didn't mess around either. And, you know, that is respect right there shown by Anthony Gordon and Newcastle United, saying that he definitely wanted to move on and he wanted to go to Barcelona. We've known that he's always wanted to go to Barcelona, and we got that deal done for him. Bruno is wanted to move on, and fair play to him, he hasn't done what Alexander Isak did last summer in downing tools and not training. He has turned up to the training, even if he did turn up late to the training, but he was in the World Cup, so, you know, fair enough there. He is allowed, you know, the rest and the time to have a break, but he's departing Newcastle United now, Bruno, and he goes to Arsenal on a 75 million deal. We get 68 million, like I've said, of that. 7 million of it goes to Lyon. And we are already looking at possible replacements for Bruno as well, with quite a few big names being looked at for that role. And I think we'll do some really good business. Looking at how we've been doing business this window so far, with what we've been signing, it looks like we are going towards the younger players, as I have said from the start of this window that we would be going for them younger players, and I think we will continue to follow along that path with this replacement coming in for Bruno. And the names that have been mentioned, you know, we've seen the likes of Danilo mentioned. We've seen quite a few other players mentioned as well. One that's recently been mentioned today is Rinders, who is possibly on the radar of Nottingham Forest. I don't know if we'll be going in for Rinders or not, because he will probably demand a pretty huge wage bill. But let us know your thoughts, you know, down in the comments below about this news today. Bruno Guimarães, of course, leaving Newcastle United to Arsenal. And, you know, he's done really good stuff whilst being here. He earned that captaincy, you know, when he came in and he did what he did. He earned the captaincy at Newcastle United, but he now goes to Arsenal, and, you know, we'll move on and bring in a replacement, and we'll see where we go from here. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about this deal? And, you know, what's your thoughts on Bruno moving to Arsenal? I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.